Are Hockerty, the online made-to-measure fashion brand, worth the money? Well, as somebody who owns quite a few pieces made by them, I'd love to offer my insight and wisdom. Hi, my name's Elliot. I'm a single father to a beautiful daughter, a lover of all things sartorial fashion, fitness, stoicism, and basically anything nerdy. And I just want to say thank you for joining me in this video today. If you could click the like, subscribe, and notification button, that would be really helpful to my channel. Now, let's get back to the review. In my other reviews that you'll find on my channel, I'll put a link in the description down below. You'll notice that I'll normally go, oh, these are reasons why it is worth it, these are reasons why maybe it's not, and then my final conclusion at the end. I'm actually going to do a completely different review today, and I'm going to start off with my conclusion and say to you that yes, Hockerty is worth the money, because one of the biggest benefits for Hockerty is that it is exceptional value for money. However, what I will say is that when I buy from them again, because I fully intend to, there will be some certain things that I would have loved to have known that I now know that I want you to know. So I will talk about some of the negatives perhaps, and I will talk obviously about some of the benefits and positives, but there are some things that I think when I buy from them again that I will take into consideration before doing so. So that's how I want to frame this video today, rather than the traditional reasons for, reasons against. Now, before we get into it, let's have a look at some of the pieces that I own so that you can get a rough idea of my experience with Hockerty. So the first thing I'd love to show you is my beautiful jacket that I had made 2 winters ago, and it was thanks to Adam over at Badass Dressed Dad. He's on Instagram. I'll put a link in the description. Please go and support him over there because he introduced me to Hockerty. He put up this kind of lovely reel of him wearing the jacket, and I was like, I need that in my life. It's beautiful. And it's a big double-breasted overcoat, and it's made from alpaca. It's in a lovely kind of like camel color. And it was made to measure. It arrived at my door, and I was just overwhelmed by the quality, the fit, and the value for money for what it is. And I can't wait for the winter to kick in to wear it again. I also own a pea coat made from them, a lovely navy pea coat, which features in my video about what are the most versatile coats you can own. I'll put that link here. I then own a few suits, or 2 suits specifically. I own a blue pinstripe suit and a grey pinstripe suit. Both of them are double-breasted. We're going to kind of look at these in more detail a little bit further into the video, but I own 2 shirts from them. One is linen, one is a linen cotton blend, one is in white, one is in grey. Again, they'll feature a little bit later because there's something interesting about them. I then own a few pairs of trousers. I own a pair of chocolate brown trousers, a light grey trousers, and then I own 2 pair of linen trousers I had made for the summer. So I own quite a myriad of things from Hockerty, and I would say that I've had a fair bit of experience with them. And that is a significant sum of money I've spent with them. Like, as much as they are good value for money, it's a significant sum of money I've spent. And I wouldn't say that I am 100% happy with all of my pieces. Some of that's my fault, and some of that is their fault. The last bit that I want to show you is my beautiful double-breasted navy blazer with gold buttons, a classic navy blazer. It was the last thing I had made from them. And it's by far my favorite piece because of the quality, the way it looks, and all the kind of the customizations I had on it. And that's the kind of the last piece that I wanted to show you. So again, I've got quite a few pieces, and I want to talk you through some of the considerations you want to make when you order, and some of the reasons why I will order again. So one of the things I really enjoy about Hockerty is the range of materials that they have. Now, they don't have as many as some of the other popular online stores like Suit Supply, for example. But what they do have is they have a wider selection of what I would say are good value for money cloths, okay? Now, the brown trousers I own are actually a 50-50 polyester and cotton blend, and they were really cheap. I want to say they were like £99 for a pair of bespoke custom-made trousers. Now, you might think, well, I can get a pair of trousers from M&S for 40 quid. Well, yes, you can, but they're not bespoke and custom-made and all that good things, okay? So that, to me, was really good value for money. However, both of the suits that I own, and this is the one I'm wearing now, are both made from merino wool. And just recently this year, they've actually got some Loro Piana cloths available as well. And if you know anything about men's fashion, you'll know that that is up there with the pinnacle of amazing cloths. And again, they're really good value for money. So that's one of the things I really enjoy about it. The other thing I really enjoy about it is the builder tool they have on their website. Again, maybe not as sophisticated as some of the other ones, but I just feel like it's a bit more intuitive. There's a simple version, an advanced version, and then the actual person you're looking at, the thing it builds, I feel is a better, truer representation of what's going to arrive to your door. And one of my favorite pastimes on, on a Friday night when I'm a bit bored is just sit on there and just build things that I think, oh, this is nice, okay? However, the thing to take into consideration is this, okay? Hockerty have their own way of making clothes, and that's true of all of these fashion houses. Claro, if you ever heard of them, you'll find a review on my channel somewhere. Claro have their own way of making. They have a house cut. Suit Supply certainly have a house cut, and Hockerty have their house cut. And if you want anything other than that, you do have to send an email to Hockerty, to a gentleman, I believe his name's Jonathan, and hopefully he still works there when I make this review because he was brilliant, and say, hey, I want this, this, and this. So to give you an example of that, on my linen trousers, I wanted them to be full cut rather than slim fit, and I wanted side adjusters, and I had to email ahead of time to get that. So there's no option to see that on the website, on the builder. And then, for example, if you wanted anything other than, say, double-breasted or single-breasted, you can get it. So like AMF stitching, for example, I didn't know that existed when I bought this jacket, and I'd love it on this stitching, but I had to email and ask for that. Now, I did get it on my navy blazer because, again, I emailed and inquired, and they said, yeah, we can do it. But that's one of the things that I want you to take into consideration, is that if you know what you want and you don't see it on Hockerty, you need to email and ask, because they will do it. However, I feel like it should just be on the website, because as somebody who was, like, I used Hockerty when I was new into all kind of stuff, and I didn't really know what I was looking at, 2 mil, 6 mil, all this kind of stuff, right? I didn't know about it. It'd have been so much better if it was just there rather than needing to email. So that's one of the considerations that you need to take. Now, the next consideration that you need to take is the way that they put their clothes together. They have a wonderful online size guide where you basically just measure yourself, and then you upload those measurements, and they build your clothes based on those measurements. And I would say they're about 90% accurate. And what I mean by that is, you'll give them measurements of your body shape, and they'll build what they want in terms of around that body shape. But you might not get exactly what you wanted or how you visualized it. And both my navy and my grey suit jacket are examples of that. They're both, in my opinion, just a little bit short. So my navy double-breasted blazer with gold buttons, I would say, is about 1 inch too short. And unfortunately, I don't know if I can take it that far. I think I could probably pull another 1/2 inch out the bottom, but I don't know if I'd get it to the length that I wanted. And that's because I just put in my measurements, and they just kind of like went with that, and they built it. And so if you truly want a really made to measure service, you probably would be better going into, say, like a Suit Supply or, your tailors and doing it that way, if I'm perfectly honest. But what I could do now is I could take the measurements from blazers that I've had made from other places that I am happy with the length, and just send all those measurements over to the people there and say, this is what I want. But again, that kind of discounts the entire online process for me, please. The entire process online now seems pointless if I then have to follow it up with an email with measurements and so on and so forth. And in all transparency, when they send you things, they say, look, if you're not happy, you can go to your tailors, make alterations, and we'll pay you, right? And that's fine. I don't want to do that. That's why I'm using an online made to measure service. Because if I was going to go to a tailor and make alterations, I'd wander down to Marks and Spencer's, buy a £100 suit, and just take it to my tailors and get it fixed, and save myself loads of time and money. What I wanted it is to turn up right at least first time. Now, other online sites like Claro have the option to send you a trial blazer or a trial pair of trousers. And yeah, you have to pay for it, but the shipping's free. But you know then that you're going to get your eye and their eye on a trial before you get your final pair of trousers. And that goes a long way for me, because my Claro stuff and my Suit Supply stuff fits perfectly. And it's exactly how I want it. Whereas I have a lot of gripes with my Suit Supply stuff. Now, to give you an example of that, I'm going to show you my white linen shirt. Now, I love the shirt. It's light, it's breezy, it does exactly what I want it to do. However, if you have a look at the sleeves here, they're about 1 inch too short. And I don't know why that is. Okay, now when it arrived, you get a couple of weeks to decide whether you like it or not. It was the summer when I got it. So as soon as I got it, I put it on. I didn't really notice that it was super short. I then rolled my sleeves up because I was red hot, and generally speaking, didn't notice it. It was only as I got into the cooler seasons that I stopped rolling my sleeves up. I was like, hey, this shirt's like 1 inch too short. What's going on here? Like, this is ridiculous. But then my grey one that if I show you now, the sleeves are almost a perfect length. Now, my measurements haven't changed on the website. The only measurement that would have changed between last year and this year is potentially the waist measurement, where I've dropped a bit of weight. But I haven't suddenly grown 1 inch or got taller. So there is some inconsistencies there that you need to be considerate of. So I would say when you do your measurements, make sure you double, triple check them and then email ahead with the measurements from a piece of clothing that you own. So if I order some more shirts, which I will because I actually quite like the way they build their shirts, and again, they're very reasonable, I will measure up my lovely proper cloth shirts that I've got that fit me perfectly and say, look, this is the measurement of the shirt, please. And again, I shouldn't have to do that, but it's just one of the considerations that you're going to have to do. However, that being said, it is fantastic value for money. A proper cloth shirt is going to run you anywhere between 150 to 200 pounds for just one of their basic shirts. At Hockerty, you can get 4 shirts for three, for the price of 3, and a shirt sits anywhere between 90 and 100 pounds, depending on what cloth you want to use. It's a far better value for money, and you don't have to spend all the big money, if I'm perfectly honest. So that's going to be the end of my review because I don't really want to labour any more points than that. Are they worth it? Yes, they're fantastic value for money. They have a wide range of cloths and styles available, and the online website builder is fun to use. However, if you are going to buy from them, you must make sure that you email and be very specific in what you want in terms of measurements of either the clothes that you have or your measurements. Now, if you're buying from here for the first time and you don't have clothes that fit you properly, then I might advise that this isn't the place to start. If I'm perfectly honest, I would wander into a suit supply shop, get measured head to toe, get your size passport, buy one thing, it's a bit expensive, but quality lasts. Then use that as a template to buy from somewhere like Hockerty, where you can get equally good value stuff for slightly cheaper prices because it's manufactured in China rather than somewhere in Europe. That's my final review. I'd love to know your opinions in the comments down below. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll catch you in the next one.